Good day. We'll start with the pre-flight procedures for the KA350i. Starting on page 4-4 of the airplane flight manual. We'll skip the first few steps for the cabin cockpit because they deal with the electric toilet, the baggage, and the forward and aft signs, and the emergency exit. So step number 6 starts with the control locks. Control locks are not installed in this aircraft, so they are properly removed. Park and brake is set, and I can see I've got my plunger pulled and the park and brake itself is set. Next we'll go over the condition levers. Condition levers are in the fuel cutoff position. Trim controls, we'll make sure that the elevator, rudder, and aileron are all set for 0. And those are checked. Moving over to the battery bus. The battery bus is located right here, and we want to make sure that switch is in the up normal position. Next, we're going to check our voltage meter, and we're looking for a minimum of 23 volts. So we go to the battery position. We see we've got 23, 24 volts, and 0 volts in the other positions. Okay? Now we're going to go ahead and bring the battery on. So right up underneath the gang bar, far left switch, we click that, and that brings the battery on. Now we'll go back to the voltage check, and I've got my minimum 23 volts, so that's good. Master warning, master caution lights. I get my standard warning and standard caution advisory messages. Next, we'll move on to the landing gear, and we see we have the nose, left, and right are illuminated, so that's good. Fuel quantity. So main, I've got 2,400 pounds in the main, and I got another 1,000 pounds in the oxes, so we're carrying 3,400 pounds. We have sufficient fuel for today's mission. Now, I'd already kind of checked this, but back over to the voltmeter, looking for the triple feed, minimum of 22 volts. The generators are 0, center bus is 23 volts, and external power is 0. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to manually close the gen ties. Probably a little bit difficult to hear. I'll move the yoke out of the way. So there's the gen ties. I want to lift this up into the closed position, and when I do that, notice that there was a gen ties annunciator in both of these positions that are now extinguished. That lets me know that my gen ties is properly closed. With the gen ties closed, now the battery can feed the left and right generator buses. So when I check left and right, I got my approximately 24 volts. At this point, we can check our flaps. So there's our flap gauge right there in front of the power levers. And we'll go ahead and bring our flaps to approach. Okay, there's a flaps approach, and we look outside. Flaps look to be about the perfect position. Flaps full down. They're the full down position. And then flaps coming up. And they are their full up position. So flaps are checked. Next, we're going to check the air stair doors. So we would have the other pilot, if available, go back there and open and close that for us. So we'll go ahead and open the door. I get the door unlocked, warning light, and we'll go ahead and close the door. I've seen this happen sometimes. There it goes. All right, our door is now closed and locked. Once we've done that, we'll go ahead and turn off the battery. So battery switch goes back off. And oxygen, we will determine our oxygen. So we're going to have to kind of reach over here to the co-pilot's sub-panels. Move that. And there's our oxygen pressure gauge right there. So we'll look at the airplane flight manual based on the number of passengers and the altitude we're going to fly if we have enough oxygen on board. Alrighty, that completes the pre-flight checks. Alrighty, welcome back. Now we are back onto page 4-10 of the airplane flight manual with the before engine starting checklist. So first thing we'll do, step 1, weight, CG, performance, and V-speeds will all be checked. Air stair door, we've already confirmed that is closed and latched. As we move forward, we would check the load, baggage, passenger briefing, cabin equipment is all checked. And then finally we sit down, pilot seat and rudder pedal is adjusted. Seatbelt shoulder harness is fastened. Park and brake we want to confirm is on. And I'll just move the yoke out of the way there. We can see the park and brake is set. Control locks are removed. Of course, you saw me move the yoke already, so the control locks has been moved and everything is nice, free, and correct on our controls. Oxygen system pre-flight is complete. I did that in my pre-flight check. So that is still the same. ELT is over here, and we want to make sure that the switch is down in the arm position. Alrighty, next we will take a look at our fuel. So we want to make sure the standby pumps are off. So left and right standby pumps are off. Cross-feed switch is normal, and aux transfer is in auto as well. Finally, we'll check the top row of circuit breakers, and all the fuel circuit breakers are in. Next, the ESIS power will come over here. This is another one I'll go ahead and move the yoke for. We'll be down. Check the test position, 2, 3, 4, 5. As long as it illuminates green for 5 seconds and we have sufficient voltage on the ESIS battery. Then we'll move it into the on position. Again, battery bus is already normal in on position. And the ESIS will start powering up. There's the little flash across it. Let me know that it is doing its pre-flight. Engine anti-ice, we'll go ahead and turn those on. That way the ice vanes are out, so during the engine start we don't suck up any FOD. Landing gear relay and circuit breaker, we want to make sure the landing gear relay circuit breaker right there is in. Next, power levers are idle, props are going to go full forward, and condition levers are fuel cutoff. Reversionary panel, make sure all of that is checked, so that is in the norm position. This switch is spring loaded. ATC is 1. Pilot's display is normal. AHARS is normal. Air data computer is normal. The tune is normal. Emergency frequency is not selected. And ground comm is also not selected. Next we'll move over to the co-pilots, so we'll check the window defog is not selected. This mode should be normally off, so we'll make sure that is in the off position. And the bleed air, since it's a fairly cool morning, we'll go ahead and start with the bleed air on. Electric heat is not required to today, so we won't turn that one on. Right circuit breaker, we'll check that all those circuit breakers are in. Alternate static, I'll just have to remove the yoke so you can see that. So that is caged, normal. And all our interior switches have been set. Next, we'll go ahead and bring the battery on. Again, reset the master warning and master caution lights. And next, we'll do our fuel system check. So first thing we're going to do is push the firewall valves. Make sure you get the correct ones here and not push the extinguishers. So there's our firewall valves are closed. We'll turn our standby pumps on. As we do that, the standby pumps are going to come on. You would hear a little bit of a hum as they come on, but because the firewall valves are closed, we don't get the fuel pressure lights to extinguish. Now we'll go ahead and open our firewall valves. So we open the left, we open the right, and as we do that, we see that our fuel pressure lights extinguish. Then we're going to turn off our standby pump, so we're going to turn off the right first, and I get fuel pressure light master warning, and then turn off the left. And again, fuel pressure light and master warning. Final check is we're going to do a cross-feed check. Let's see if I can get everything in the screen here as we do this. So we'll check left to right first. So left one, and then the right one extinguishes. Back to the off, they both come back on. And then right to left, they extinguish, and then back on. Alright, that's the fuel panel check. Next we'll check the fuel quantity. And that has already been checked, and we still have that. And then to the test, up to test position, 1001, 1002, 1003, 4, 1005, and we get left and right fuel quantity switches. Alright, pilot subpanel. Landing gear lights, we'll go ahead and check, and I get my 2 red lights. Hydraulic fluid, 1001, 1002, that actually came on a little bit quick there. Here's a hydraulic fluid light. Over to the co-pilot side, we're going to check the cabin warning lights. So there's cabin warning and the other light. And while I'm here, I'll go ahead and get all the other ones. So there's our stall horn, or overspeed horn, I'm sorry, stall warning, gear warning. And we'll check the fire detection and fire extinguish. Okay. All of those checks have been complete. Last is the cockpit voice recorder. Come down here. Normally we press and hold that green button for 5 seconds, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we would get a green light letting us know the cockpit voice recorder is working. Alrighty, next will be engine start battery.